Okay, let's get to the point here. Ruger really needs to add a revolver to their 75th anniversary lineup. So, for those of you who don't know, 2024 marks 75 years of Ruger being in operation. Just a little quick look at Ruger history. Ruger was founded in 1949 by Alex McCormick Sturm and William B. Ruger. Basically, Sturm provided the capital, and William Ruger provided the gunsmithing and engineering. And I've also heard that it was actually Alex Sturm who designed the famous Ruger logo. Now, when I say their 75th anniversary model lineup, I'm not talking about the super limited ones. Ruger recently unveiled a Ruger number 1 for their 75th anniversary lineup, and that thing is super limited, and I think the MSRP is like $7,500. So I'm not talking about adding a revolver to that lineup. I'm talking about the regular, not so super limited lineup. So let's take a look at the guns in that regular lineup and why a revolver deserves to be in there. Okay, so we've got the Ruger Mark IV Standard. This one's a no-brainer because the Ruger Standard, later known as the Ruger Mark I Standard, was the gun that launched Ruger. This was the first offering from Ruger. Obviously, the Mark I Standard is no longer being produced. It's been surpassed by the Mark II, Mark III, and now the Mark IV. But it's still cool that the Mark IV Standard version is in the 75th anniversary lineup. So this one makes sense. I'm good with this one. Next up, the Ruger 1022. Now the 1022 came out much later. It did not launch with Ruger, but through the years, it's become basically America's favorite 22. The aftermarket for this rifle is insane. You can buy this rifle as it is and enjoy it as it is, but the aftermarket is so vast. There are people who will buy regular plain Jane 1022s as a platform to build on. There are crazy builds out there, everything from match grade tack drivers to things that look real let's say military-ish. In other words, it's become basically America's 22 rifle. Yeah, the Marlin Model 60 may still surpass the 1022 in sales, because the Model 60, boy, that sold. There were a lot of those sold, but I imagine the 1022 can't be too far behind now. Anyways, sorry, went off on a tangent there. The Ruger Standard and the Ruger 1022 obviously very strongly associated with the Ruger brand name. So these two are looking good. Okay, these are logical choices. Then we get to the Ruger 75th anniversary LCP Max in 380 Auto. Okay. Look, I understand that this pistol is actually fairly popular for concealed carry. It is a very small gun. I've seen this at the gun stores. I've held it. Wow, this is a very small gun. And 380, in a small gun, it really doesn't recoil all that much. For some people, 9mm in such a small gun can be a little spiky, but you bring the power level down to 380, this is a fairly manageable gun to shoot. So I understand that currently fairly popular, but come on now. For a 75th anniversary gun, I'm sorry. LCP series, got nothing against them. But as far as Ruger legacy, really? When you say Ruger, do you really think of the LCP Max, if we're going to be honest? Okay, I'm not talking about the gun's quality. I've never owned one, but again, it's pretty popular. I'm sure it's a fine gun in its application of deep concealment. But again, legacy regarding or in the context of Ruger's 75th anniversary. Yeah, the LCP Max hasn't been around that long, and again, not long enough to to evoke nostalgic imagery of Ruger back in the day with the LCP Max. Now this is weird, and it's even weirder that they would have the LCP Max but not a revolver. Let's take a look at some of their revolvers. The Ruger Blackhawk, and for the sake of discussion, when I'm considering the Blackhawk revolvers for the 75th anniversary line, I'm just going to include all of them as a possible candidate. So Blackhawk, new model Blackhawk, Super Blackhawk. I think at least one of them should be in the 75th anniversary lineup because the original Blackhawk was introduced in 1955, originally in 357 Magnum, and again originally introduced in 1955. So this revolver has story, it has legacy, it has history. In my opinion, far more closely associated with Ruger's story than the LCP Max. Let's take a look at another one, the Ruger Single 6. Now there were two models, the new model and the old model. Obviously the new model would be the one to be in the 75th anniversary lineup if Ruger were to choose it, but I'm just saying there were two models. The new model was produced in 1973. The old model goes all the way back to 1953. So once again, a gun with story and history and legacy with Ruger. Ask any Ruger fan and they'll tell you, yeah, of course, Ruger Single 6 closely associated with Ruger, far more, again, than that LCP Max. Next up, the Ruger Bearcat. There have actually been three different models of this gun, the Bearcat, Super Bearcat, and New Bearcat. The original Bearcat goes all the way back to 1958. So once again, a firearm with deep history, deep legacy, deep story connected to Ruger. I think this would make another fine candidate for the 75th anniversary lineup. Now, I'm not saying that all of these revolvers should make it into the lineup, but at least one of these should. Again, these revolvers have way more history and legacy with Ruger than the LCP Max. If you want to keep the LCP Max in the lineup, hey, whatever, that it's your gun, your call, but come on. To include the LCP Max and also ignore some of your long-running revolvers, oh, come on, Ruger, come on. Come on, Ruger. Put at least one of your long-running revolvers into that 75th anniversary lineup.